Hi, this is Trevor Crane again, and we're going to go through a normal Bpro scan. And the first thing we start with is our patient. And actually, you've also seen that we've set up our table so we have all of our materials ready to go. And we try to keep the table as clean as possible because this watch device is sometimes, it's kind of coiled around. It looks unkempt, unclean. So we want to keep the table looking tidy. And the first thing we're going to do is our patient has already decided to do the scan. For whatever reason, they've been at a screening event or their doctor has recommended that they're here. So we want to make them feel comfortable. So the very first thing, and by the way, you can refer to your checklist, and it's okay to have your checklist in front of you on the table so that you can make sure that you go through each step until you have it really in your head. So the first thing we do is we have our patient. This is Stephanie. Say hi, Stephanie. Stephanie is going to get this screening done, and the first thing is I have some pre-qualifying questions. So you can refer to this. Stephanie, has your doctor advised you against getting blood pressure screening done on your left arm?
No.
So that's the first question, just in case they've had any, have you ever had any stents, shunts, or a dialysis port on your left arm?
No.
Because if they have, you can do the same process on the right arm, and I'll show you the difference later. So left arm is good for us to use. Have you had any major injuries or surgery that this left arm might affect blood pressure?
No.
Okay, these are our pre-qualifying questions. In my experience, 95% of the time, that's going to be your answer, and you can use the left arm. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start with taking blood pressure. So when people get their blood pressure taken, if we take a series, generally the first one is going to be a little, their blood pressure is going to be a little higher than their second or third. And also, if people hear this sound, even that sound can raise their blood pressure. So ideally, I didn't really want to do that right now. Ideally, I will have my blood pressure cuff already open so that I don't need to make that Velcro sound for them. Another thing is when they sit down in this chair, notice how Stephanie's sitting, her feet are flat on the floor, and I like to use an analogy. I say, pretend that this is a recliner, and you've got a big screen TV sitting in front of you, and just put this arm on your armrest of your recliner and relax. So take a deep breath, and let it out, and relax, and just look at the television screen right in front of you, or pretend that you are. Now, Stephanie, do me a favor real quick, and you've seen some people that kind of sit at a different angle from me. Get in an uncomfortable angle like some people sit when they first show up, and then holding their arm up and different things. So this is the first thing that I share with someone is that little statement of, okay, Stephanie, the hardest part, go ahead and sit in this chair like it's a recliner, and this is your armchair, and you have a big screen TV right in front of you. And take a deep breath and relax. Put your feet flat on the floor, and we want this angle to be really comfortable and relaxed, so you want to make sure your chair is close to the table so that she doesn't have to reach over to hold her arm on the table. If somebody has any watch or jewelry, you can have them remove it from her arm, but I'm going to do this with her bracelets on here because it's not going to disrupt our test. Really what I'm going to do, we're starting with blood pressure, excuse me. So after asking the pre-qualifying questions about blood pressure, I'm going to take the cuff, and another reason why we just delayed here is when I made the mistake of having this Velcro tied over, I want to give her a chance to just get comfortable before I take the blood pressure. Now, using this blood pressure cuff, we're going to slide it right over on her arm. You can put your arm down. And I want you to see that we want the tube that comes out of this to come down almost the center of their arm, just like it's a continuation of the main vein that would be in the center of her bicep. So we're going to put that right over the center, right in the little soft spot of the arm. And by the way, this can go over someone's shirt. So if this were blood pressure being done on me, then it can go right over my shirt. I don't have to take it off or lift it up. So I'm then going to go ahead and snug this down, but not really tight, like very loose. I just want to go ahead and close the Velcro. For those people that have bigger arms, we have an actual bigger cuff that you can use. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my machine. You can get real close here, Whitney, if you can, so I can show you. Look at where the blood pressure cuff is sitting, that this tube is coming right down the center of her arm, and the green is here towards the crease in her arm as well. Again, we're using the left arm for this procedure, and we've turned the machine on by pressing on. We can also set, with this machine, you can actually hold the memory button down, hold it down for like 3 or 4 seconds, and you can see delete all can show up on the screen. So all you've got to do is hit start for yes. It deletes all the previous scans that we did, and now we've got a clean memory. So all I've got to do to start this, to take the screening, is just hit start. And this is Stephanie's chance to just relax. So if you want to step back, I'll give you the next part of what I say when we're in this part of the process, because everybody needs to go through this stage. So I will share with Stephanie that the hardest part of your job is to just relax. The hardest part of my job is to find the little spot on your wrist here that is going to tell us, give us the measure for your heart and your arteries. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Great. So that's part of their script I think you should use every time, which is to tell someone their job is to relax while our job is to just find this little spot. So there we go. It's 143 over 85. And I'll ask the patient sitting here whether or not this is in the, do you know what your blood pressure is normal? Is this normal for you? And what is your answer? Is that normal for you, or is that high or low?
That's a little high.
That's a little high. So whatever the result is, sometimes people will get a little panicked if this is a little high. And I assure Stephanie that that's okay. If we do a series here and we waited another 10-15 minutes, your blood pressure would probably get lower and lower. You can also do a second or third blood pressure test just to have them feel comfortable or you to feel comfortable. And you can just wait 30 to 60 seconds for the next scan. I'll do it one more time so that you can see that we can get an average blood pressure. So it's 143 over 85. We'll do one more scan, or one more blood pressure. The other thing that I can be doing while she's getting her blood pressure taken, and this is depending on what stage of the process you're doing scans. Depending on your screening day, if you're just seeing one patient at a time and you have 15 minutes or 20 minutes with the patient, then you can do this all by yourself. When we go to a screening event where you have a lot of patients, we usually have someone do the blood pressure and take ask the questions before they get to the Bpro actually scanning device. And then from there will be a third station where they take those results and someone will help them interpret the information. So as you can see, the second blood pressure here is 136 over 84, so it came down. If I press the memory button, we get to see that the previous one was 143. So you can see that if we waited, it would be less and less and less. You press the button again, and even if you take a series of 3 or 4 of these, the A here stands for average. So the average blood pressure of these 2 or 3 or 4 scans, if we needed them, 140 over 85. So I'm going to go ahead and use that measure. I'm going to take this off of her so she feels free. There you go. I'm also going to assure the patient as we move along that they're doing great. You did a great job, and I can make it a little bit fun if I want to, kind of make them laugh a little bit, but remind them to keep breathing and relax, because some people are really concerned at this stage of getting this thing done, of what the results are going to be. So I want them to know, and I'm going to have my hands on them. I want them to know that this is an easy process. We're going to be done in a few minutes. You're doing great. That's, whatever this is going to give us a picture of where you are today. That doesn't mean that's what the future is going to be. We can help you. So the other thing is, when I fold up this blood pressure cuff, you can see I folded it over, so when I go to put it on my next person, I don't have to tear the Velcro, so they have to hear that. So I can put this aside. I'll set this beside me, or I could set it on the table, but I like to keep my table clean.